NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Taylor. House Republicans are grilling President Biden's brother behind closed doors today. James Biden is testifying before the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees as part of the impeachment inquiry into the president. GOP lawmakers claim the president improperly profited from his family's overseas business dealings while vice president in the Obama administration. The president has denied any wrongdoing. Former President Trump continues to compare the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny to his own legal troubles. Michael Kastner has more.
During a Fox News town hall in South Carolina, Trump said the death of the Russian opposition leader was a horrible thing, but claimed it's happening in our country, too.
It is a form of Navalny. It is a form of communism or fascism.
President Biden is calling out Trump for his response to Navalny's death. In a video posted online Tuesday, Biden said Trump and other Republicans refused to hold Vladimir Putin responsible for Navalny's death.
Trump said Navalny's death made him realize how bad America is. He said, and I quote, "We are a nation in decline, a failing nation," end of quote. Why does Trump always blame America? Putin is responsible for Navalny's death. Why can't Trump just say that?
Biden noted Trump made no mention of Putin in his response and instead complained about his legal troubles in the U.S. The president also slammed Trump over his recent comments on NATO, in which Trump suggested the U.S. might not protect NATO allies who don't spend enough on defense. The Biden administration is dishing out over $1 billion in student loan debt forgiveness. Borrowers in the Saving on a Valuable Education program who have made at least 10 years of payments will be receiving an email from President Biden today. That amounts to an estimated 153,000 borrowers. The U.S. is standing alone in vetoing a resolution at the UN calling for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. U.S. Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield said the resolution would negatively impact sensitive negotiations to free hostages held by Hamas. You're listening to the latest on NBC News Radio.
What would you do if you had a broken bone? You'd go to the doctor and use your insurance, right? Well, what would you do if you have a serious problem with drugs and alcohol? Most people do nothing until it's way too late. Your insurance can help you get clean and sober with the assistance of a place like the Detox and Treatment Helpline. Many times, addiction treatment is fully covered. So why not use your insurance to treat your addiction problem just like you would if you had a broken bone? And with the Family Medical Leave Act, you're allowed to take time off by law, and your employer doesn't need to know the reason. So there are two good reasons. You've got insurance you can use for your addiction problem, and with the Family Medical Leave Act, it's completely confidential. Call now, 800-398-7414. That's 800-398-7414.
For over a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. More than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. It's also the backbone of the emergency alert system, keeping us safe in dangerous times. A new bill in Congress would ensure this free, reliable service remains in cars. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Was your car involved in an accident or just need help with dents? All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers. In business for over 30 years. Their highly trained staff and certified technicians and friendly staff are the best in the business and treat each car as if it was their own. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers are family-owned and offer state-of-the-art equipment and tools to ensure optimum results. They use the latest technology in computerized color matching and specialize in frame repairs. With their modern laser measuring systems, they're OEM certified, and they have 4 locations to serve you. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers offer rental car assistance with free drop-off and pickup services too, and their work has a lifetime guarantee. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers are in Norco, Eastvale, Moreno Valley, and in Fontana. Call them at 1-800-61-MAGIC. That's 1-800-61-MAGIC. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers. 1-800-61-MAGIC. All Magic Paint and Auto Body says, drive carefully.
KCAA.
Tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone. Are you lonely?
No.
Yeah, I knew that was going to be
But
the answer.
I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. But I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so
Okay,
I can come over.
come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, T-Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Speaker, and more. This is a show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K-words, no Kanye talk, formerly or now. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. And I have topics and guests and series to that end. If you missed yesterday's fabulous interview with the man of 1,000 voices, the icon, the legend, Rich Little, you just have to free subscribe on my YouTube TV channel and you will get that to listen and watch. And the spirits, and it is Wednesday, which is my very special series called In the House with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffany Tate.
And she's here this morning. Welcome back to the studio, Dr. Tiffany. She's a board-certified OBGYN who took some lemons in not being able to practice because of an accident and turned it in her life into this magnificent, very tasty lemonade. She's a playwright, she's a poet, she's an author, she's a singer, she's a songwriter, you name it, she's there. She's my partner in Renaissance crime. How's that?
Absolutely.
And it's so lovely to have you back in the studio. Wow, look at that piece on you. That's gorgeous.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wow. Anyways, we're going to find out what's been happening by doing our regular breakfast with your host today. 8 specific things that you're grateful for on the top of the bun, and 8 things that you like about yourself, appreciation on the bottom of the bun. It's called Breakfast with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffany Tate.
And we're taking a bite out of my gratitude sandwich. So you go ahead and start. What are you grateful for, Dr. Tiffany?
I am grateful to be blessed with 2 absolutely fabulous children. My son has been auditioning for his PhD program, and he's been traveling the world. He auditioned at Rutgers, University of North Carolina, USC, UCLA, and he's waiting to hear back from them. But when he auditioned at the University of Oregon, they loved him so much. At the end of his audition, they admitted him on site.
Wow.
Yes, they were so in love with him. They were like, we're going to find the money for you. We want to give you a full scholarship and we want you. And I said, okay, that's great, but you have to want them too. And we want to see who else wants to dance with you. So we don't just run into everybody's arms. And so we're talking about intimacy and running into people's arms as well a little bit later in the show. But we also want to make sure it's a mutual love. So I am very grateful that.
Oh, that's so exciting. That's awesome. Well, let's just say wherever the match is, right? The best and the biggest. Yeah. All right. I am grateful that I see the sun today. I don't mind the rain. I know we need it, but I am solar powered and I am so happy that the sun is shining in Southern California today. And I'm also grateful for our love streamers on my YouTube TV channel, Zenalbia, Queen is here this morning. Welcome back to the show. What else are you grateful for?
Yes, I am grateful for my beautiful support from my sorority sisters because they are always there showing me love and support. So I'm very grateful for them.
Yay. And she can play along too if she wants to and put a gratitude in the chat. I know Frank is always grateful for music, so we'll add my great sound engineer in the back. Thank you, Frank, for all the work that you do for me behind the scenes. I am grateful for people in my life that love me in spite of me. I shouldn't say that. I mean, we're all 88% fabulous and 12% of the time we step in. But there are individuals in your life who, I'm thinking of my accountant who this year is putting his foot down and saying, no, I'm not doing your taxes. But I've known him since I was single, way before, when I was in grad school.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just such a lovely person. And it is wonderful to meet people in life who, I would really only talk to him once a year, right? Doing taxes. But he's become such a beautiful person in my life that I wanted to just give him a little love and gratitude for that. This is not a very good testament for how difficult my taxes are, but Dr. Tiffany, on the way to do my taxes one year, he didn't show up. And I was like, where are you? He's usually not late or anything. He had a heart attack on the way to come to me to do his taxes.
Ooh.
He's fine. He's fine. That's how bad things are with my taxes. I'm kidding. All right. Your sorority sister is grateful for God's many blessings, wonderful family, friends, sisters, neighbors, provisions. Absolutely.
Okay. And since you mentioned music, and I know we had the Grammys a couple of weeks ago, I am grateful that I can live in a world where I can be both a fan of Beyonce and a fan of Taylor Swift, and I don't have to choose.
Is there a choice out there?
Well, I know that there was a big hoopla over Taylor Swift winning Album of the Year, for so many years, and and there not being a person of color winning one. And if you actually look at it, it's not her fault that she was nominated for winning Album of the Year. And a person of color, or actually you say a Black person, has not won Album of the Year since 1999 when I believe it was the Lauryn Hill when she won it. So if you actually look at it, it's a Grammy issue. It's not a Taylor Swift issue. So have Black people made great albums? Absolutely. And you have to give Taylor Swift her flowers because she does make great music. And you also have to give Beyonce her flowers because she makes great music. So it's not a Beyonce issue. It's not a Taylor Swift issue. It's a Grammy issue because lots of artists have made great albums since 1999, since Lauryn Hill. So you can't pit two wonderful artists against each other. That is an incorrect thing to do because they're both wonderful artists in and of themselves. And even if you look at it right now, there was an issue with Beyonce releasing her country album and some of the country stations refusing to play her when people called and requested it. And they were like, oh, we didn't know that she released a country album just because she was a Black artist. So there's still a lot of issues. And it being Black History Month, they were just shutting it down. And she's number one with those singles that she has released. And even though there's a demand and there's a request, we still have a lot of hurdles that we are still combating. But I am grateful that I can be a fan of both of these female artists. Because I have both of them on my playlist. Yes.
Thank you for the clarification. I don't have a TV and I don't watch the news. I practice what I teach. I will hear about things, obviously, when they get to a boiling point, but I really do try to stay away from things like that. Not that I don't think that they exist, and I absolutely value Black History Month. I value the emphasis on people of color because they have been underserved and underrepresented and misrepresented while we're at it in the past. And yes, we do need to provide some balance, but it's a huge can of worms every single time, because I know as a person of color, you don't want to win an award just because of your race either. You're hoping that you are talented enough to win that award. So it's a multi-layered, gray, difficult thing to unravel. But and I don't know if we're going to do it in our generation. But the good news is we are doing everything we can. And my job is to focus on organizations and people who are doing something to help value diversity instead of criticizing people who may or may not be. That's been my why there's no gossip scandal, because as important as it is, the importance is in not, as you so well pointed out, it's not between Taylor Swift and Beyonce. It is the bigger issue of, how do we provide some fairness all over the place? And, right now, it's next Monday, we're going to have back on my satellite sister, Koyo Graham, and we did a special series after George Floyd happened, and called It's Not Black and White, or Is It? So that, we do have to focus on it, but in a way that transcends the lower denomination of the equation. And even Frank's like, Jay-Z was very mad. He put in the chat on the private. So yeah, it's too bad. It really is too bad when things are, go down to that level where you involve the lowest common denominator instead of staying, the go up. I'm gonna always go up. Hashtag UP, hashtag unlimited possibilities. All right. So that was a nice long top of the bun for our gratitude sandwich. And now we're going to go to the bottom of the bun, which is, what do you like about yourself? And I believe it's my BS belief system that good mental health starts with a foundation of self-care, self-love, self-soothing. Because frankly, my dear, if you can't approve of yourself, how the fork do you expect anybody else to? So what do you like about yourself, Dr. Tiffany?
I like the fact that I am able to be generous with people. I can give whatever it is that they need. If they need my time, I am willing to sacrifice my time for them.
I appreciate my ability to give myself a break. I'm a recovering workaholic. I have 8 jobs right now. I have had that many for decades. And just about 3 years ago is when I said, am I really having fun? I love my work, but when am I having non-achievement oriented fun? So I appreciate my ability to go and play mahjong. That's my break.
Well, I like the fact that I don't take myself seriously, and I enjoy just relaxing and watching movies. And I love Disneyland. It's my go-to.
It is your happy place, right?
It is.
What's your favorite ride? What's your favorite ride?
It's a small world.
I should have known. Oh my goodness. Do you have a favorite in California Adventure?
In California Adventure, I love The Little Mermaid.
I should have known that too.
And the Incredicoaster. I love the Incredicoaster, and then I treat myself to the cookie.
I'm gonna have to schedule a date to have that kind of fun.
Oh, absolutely. I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Okay. I like the one that drops. They renamed that one whatever that
Yes,
one
they
is.
named it after the movie. Um,
The, the drop.
yes, yes. They changed it from Tower of Terror. Um,
That's
yeah, it's formerly Tower of Terror. Yeah.
yeah. That's the one. I still haven't gone on the plane one. Everybody was talking about the plane one. That's really good. So yeah, that's on our bathtub list. Dr. Tiffany and Dr. Marissa's bathtub list.
Oh, I'm
Bigger
down.
than a
We can do a show from there, maybe in like one of the restaurants, and then just
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe we'll get a free pass doing that. You
Mhm.
never know. You never
Yeah,
know.
we can reach out to
Um,
Disney. Mhm.
I'm sorry.
So we can reach out to Disney. Yes.
For sure, for sure. I appreciate my ability to smile often. I love in elevators. I'm known for the average for normally in an elevator you sort of down look up, not me. I gotta be talking and sharing some happy thoughts or happy anything with whoever's around me. Sometimes it gets me in trouble, but I do love breaking that taboo barrier where you're not supposed to say anything in elevators with strangers. You're so close to people, for goodness sakes. You got to say something. Yeah. There's actually a sweatshirt that I've seen twice now, and it's like law of attraction. I'm gonna have to get one. Have you seen them? They're black, like a hoodie, and on the back it says, "I just want to tell the person behind me who's reading this or something how wonderful you are and how much I appreciate you," or something like that. Signed the person in front of you.
Yeah, those are
Have you seen
cute.
that yet?
Yeah, yeah, I've seen some
You've
of
seen
those.
it? Oh man, I gotta get the designer on this show, and then I can get a free sweatshirt. All right, I'll go buy one. I'm sure they're a good organization to support them. All right, last one, Dr. Tiffany.
I appreciate my ability to be resilient. There's the song, I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna get me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Yeah. So I appreciate the fact that I do get knocked down, but I am resilient and I get up and I press forward no matter what. And I'm going to continue to keep going forward, keep pushing and praying and trusting God and keep pushing.
Yay, absolutely. And that is it, folks, for our taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich every morning on this show. You are tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show, and our very special Wednesday series called Doctors in the House with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffany Tate.
I promise that if you do this good life habit, this discipline for 28 consecutive days, that means you have to be here except on the weekends, then you will start your day in the most positive way. All right, and it's time for our topic of the day. And I had some fun with it in the description. Did you like the description?
I loved the description. It was very cute. I love the play on words.
The ins and outs of intimacy, pun intended. So you start dating, you meet someone who lights your fire. Baby, baby, light my fire. Now what? Join my regular series, Doctors in the House, with co-host Dr. Tiffany Tate and I, as we explore this intimate side of relationships and figure out when to get in and to get out. I do love the play. So, Dr. Tiffany, why don't you tell me why you chose this topic?
I chose this topic because last week was Valentine's Day. And some people, not all, had intimate relationships, possibly, or people that they tried to become intimate with. Some people were successful, some people were not. And sometimes there are barriers to intimacy. And perhaps you needed some assistance and didn't know what to do and what those barriers were. And if you fell flat on your um, attempts, maybe you need some coaching and some tools to help you with that. And maybe you need a roadmap, and maybe you need some assistance and some guidance. And perhaps we can kind of coach you there and give you some tools to help you. And a lot of times people don't know how to talk, don't know how to communicate, don't know how to express themselves. And intimacy requires communication. And it's more than just saying, I'm present and I love you. And it's more than words, and it's more than just physical contact. A lot of times it's an emotional connection, and there are levels and layers to it. So I thought it would be good contact and good context for us to talk about the ins and outs. And do you need to get out?
My mind is just like such a dirty place sometimes. This whole time, all I'm thinking about is, maybe you need some help. Are you talking about Viagra, or you're talking about? So I was going on the physical side, which actually, should I bring this up or not? Oh, what the
Yeah,
heck?
you can. You can. There's no
So,
here.
so, so this is a place that I've never ever had to even contemplate or think about. But y'all know I'm dating again. Y'all know it's been 7 years. Y'all know the challenges and the opportunities. And I have to say, I am very proud of the way that I am, really doing it differently. I'm not looking for my person. I'm not looking for perfection. I'm just out there and I'm meeting people and, just looking at the intimacy or not. And one of the candidates, good on, many different levels, helped me understand that I do like that physical touch, that I think I never knew that was so important for me, just like non-erotic touching, but just that feeling. I do it. I usually do it, when I'm hugging and I'll stroke the back, stuff like that. But I didn't realize how much I love that. So he was great in teaching me that. But the let's put it this way. I won't be that. I'll be a little more subtle. George Burns, when he was 90 years old, was asked, "Do you still have sex?" And George Burns said, "Actually, no, I can't do it like Rich Little does." He goes, "That would be like shooting pool with a rope." Okay, you got it. So that's something I've never experienced. Well, that's not true. One time, a long, long time ago, when I was dating an older gentleman, very successful, but that was also his issue. Um, I don't think we talked about Viagra then. I know for sure we didn't. I don't even know. I think I forgot. But anyways, so for the first time, I had to think about. Somebody said, my girlfriend said, "Well, you can fix that with Viagra," and I'm like, "Do I want to go there?" I've always thought Viagra was an artificial, something that had a lot of side effects. And when you were talking about you need a little help with your intimacy physically, that's where I went.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Have you dealt with that?
Well, I have dealt with that before, but let me tell you, when you talk about intimacy, intimacy can take on very different layers. And so, it's the relationship of feeling or being close, emotionally connected and supported. So there's that emotional connection. And then it's being able to share a whole range of thoughts and feelings and experiences. And so there's that emotional connection, and then there's that physical connection. And so when you're being intimate with someone, you want that emotional connection, because a lot of times when you're talking to someone, you can approach intimacy on three levels. And when I was doing my research, I came across someone who said, okay, when you have a relationship and you start the relationship, there's the superficial, and then there's and the superficial one is that informational. And you start the conversation, and you're like, okay, how are you doing? And you're like, oh, my day is going great, and I did X, Y, and Z. And you're like, okay, that's great. Then that's the first level. Then you go to that personal level, and it's like, okay, that's more subjective. And it's like that's when you express how you're feeling. Well, my day was going great, and then I felt this. And that's when you take it another level deeper. Okay. And then a lot of people don't go beyond that personal level. And then when we ready to get to a more deeper level and start connecting emotionally with somebody, that's that more relational level. That's when we get to that deeper level where we're thinking, okay, I might want to have a more personal connection with you. And that's when you start to evaluate how you feel around that person. That person gives me a rapid heartbeat, and I get sweaty hands, and they make me feel warm and tingly inside. Um, and we never really communicate how they make us feel. And that's when we start to feel vulnerable. We never really express our vulnerability with someone. I'm not going to say, Dr. Marissa, when I'm around you, you make me feel X, Y, and Z. Whether you're having an argument, say, with your mom, or I'm having an argument with my partner, or you're having an argument with your partner, you won't say, you make me feel frustrated. When you're making me feel frustrated, my heart rate goes up. You're making me feel hot. I'm angry. I'm my heart is racing, and you're making me feel flustered. You just get pissed off and you walk away. And so the way we feel, we don't really communicate that. We tend to shut down, and these are intimacy barriers. And so we can't really interact and intermingle. So when we talk about intimacy and barriers to intimacy, these are things that I was like, okay, Valentine's Day was last week. How can we talk about intermingling and interacting with people? So when we say we love each other and we want to get physical with one another, what is it that we can do to blossom that relationship? Now, when people want to unify and bump uglies or share their cookies, hmm? Like, Dr. Marissa, I can't hear you.
Sorry that there was a garbage truck backing up, so I muted myself for a second. What did you say? Bump uglies?
Yeah, bump uglies. You never heard that term before?
No. I love learning new terms.
Okay.
Bump uglies. Oh
Yeah.
my. Okay.
And so if you want to become intimate with one another, I think the best way is communicate. A lot of women require foreplay. And if you want to reach the maximum orgasm, a lot of times as an OBGYN, I would talk to women about maximizing orgasms. And the way in which you maximize your orgasms is with foreplay. And they were like, okay, how do you maximize orgasms? How do you maximize foreplay? And you say, okay, if you rub the clitoris, basically you can get an orgasm. These are simple things. And if you have lubrication, that's one of the things that you definitely need. And a lot of women have issues with lubrication. You can purchase lubrication over the counter, and if you have foreplay, you can get lubrication naturally. But a lot of time, men just kind of want to hit it and quit it, and they don't want to take the time to get the woman to have lubrication naturally. So there are a lot of little different things that can maximize intimacy. But if you touch a woman's mind and you have the conversation, you can get to the point where you will have the intimacy you need. But you need to have the conversation. You need to ask her about her day. You need to touch her heart. You need to touch her soul. So that's where that intimacy and the relationship come into play.
All right. I did not know you were going there today. The whole time at the beginning, when I was going there, I thought you were talking about the emotional side. So hold on, let me take a breath. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering, what the heck are we talking about today? This is Take My Advice. I'm not using a gift balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, home to the Asian Oprah, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube TV channel, where you can actually react to what we are saying. And in the chat, welcome Linda Gaines Brooks to the show. Thank you for being here. You got a finger, Dr. Tiffany, in somewhere in there, which is this thumbs up, not the other finger. And we are talking about intimacy in a way that I didn't think we were going to talk about. So you just heard some OBGYN medical doctor advice on how to increase your, I know Frank's in the back going, should I push the button? Do I dump this? How to extend or maximize orgasms, how to extend and maximize foreplay because of the beauty and the joy of true intimacy. And intimacy, I like playing with the words. It's you are seeing into me. So intimacy, see me, is how I like to play with that. So, and Dr. Tiffany took a turn that I didn't think she was going to do. So we're talking at all levels of intimacy here on the show today. Please share your experience. If you haven't, please ask any questions for definitely, this is medical advice from Dr. Tiffany, who is a board certified OBGYN. At the same time, we are doctors in the house because we share our experience, and it's not, don't take this advice as official medical advice, but we are talking about experiences, and we are both coaches, life coaches. So that is, just a little disclaimer as we continue on today. So yeah, I want to jump into the intimacy conversation with the differences between men and women. And because I had Dr. John Gray on for the third time last week, y'all love that show. He's the mega best-selling author of Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And I know he gets a lot of flack from feminists because they don't want to highlight differences between men and women. Their whole point is that we're not different, but hormonally, physically structured, orgasmically, stimulationally, we are different. And that point you made about, it is true that women do need a longer runway, right, to get into that point. And often we say to the men, you need to do this, you need to change, you need to think about it. At the same time, I'm gonna bag on women for a second, because I do this. We are natural nurturers and caretakers, and I know early in my intimate relationships, I developed a habit of wanting to please the man, which is a natural nurturing thing, at the expense of not pleasing me. And to this day, I still have to work so hard, pun intended, to take care of me. The man is willing, but my head, not their head, my head is not focused on now. I'm thinking about things that I'm not getting done, I'm thinking about how we are bumping uglies and how I'm the ugly half. I'm thinking about, making sure he's pleased. I'm thinking about how difficult it is for me to get pleased, which is not a thought that is going to help me with my intimacy. So what I'm getting from your suggestions is it's more important to communicate to myself first before I communicate to the man. I have to get myself in that place where I can receive the intimacy. And that's been my work this round in this next chapter in my book of romance is I'm really working hard, pun intended, to get myself in a place where I can receive intimacy. So I don't know if anybody else can relate to that. It ain't easy. I'm having to bump up against all kinds of BS belief systems that I have developed, over how many years in relationships or not relationships. I have never had makeup sex. I've never really had a great relationship where I don't feel like they're getting more than me. I haven't had a relationship where I think that I've met someone who is a true match. And so I've got these, it's never going to happen. This is not my forte. Other people can have it. I've already been married and divorced. I do everything once. I don't need it a second time. All of these BS belief systems keep me from enjoying the intimacy that I could have.
I think one of the issues is that some women need to overcome the hurdle that you don't deserve to enjoy sex. And that is a false belief. You deserve to enjoy sex. You deserve to have an orgasm. And you deserve to be pleased. And you also deserve to tell a man what makes you happy. And it's okay to say, I like this. And it doesn't make you a bad person to say what it is you like. And it's okay to verbalize your wants. It's okay to verbalize your needs. Somewhere along the line, we have not been taught to say what we want. And we have not been taught to verbalize our needs. And it's a travesty. It's okay for a man to say what he likes, what he wants, what he needs sexually. But we as women have been taught to be quiet and to please men. And we have not been taught to say what we want. We have not been taught to say what we need, but we have been taught to please men. We have not been taught to be pleased. And it's something that we need to change. And it's just a reality. That was cute.
Oh, I 100,000% yes. And this is, religion also plays into that. I was brought up in a religion where everything about that is dirty, and the only time you have sex is when you're married and for the sole purpose of having a child, right? So it is that as well, being taught not just that you're not important when it comes to sex, but that if you want to focus on that, it's not a good thing. You're not supposed to do that, which is one of the reasons I'm so glad you went there, Dr. Tiffany. When I was only on once a week on the air, I had a last week of the month series called Sexual Healing with Dr. Marissa, because I recognized that one of the things keeping us from letting go of the bullshit talkie around that we don't deserve multiple orgasms or one orgasm was that BS belief system that we're not supposed to ask for what we want. And I personally had experiences, one of the guys that I was, very attracted to when I first came to California, big bodybuilder, I almost said his name, bodybuilder. And, I was just like so in lust. And when I did try, the first time I tried to help myself, right? He grabbed my hand and he said, "No, that's my job." and it was like, wow, that to this day, I still carry that BS belief system that if I am engaging in sex, there's something wrong with me if I cannot come to the happy place, right? On my own. I mean, no, just with the man.
Yeah. I believe that even in the Bible, if the Christian Bible in the Song of Solomon, it's all about sexualizing the woman and sex being beautiful. And it is a beautiful thing. And a woman should be able to initiate sex with her partner. If a woman cannot initiate sex with her partner, there's a problem within the relationship. It should be able to go both ways. The man should not be the only person leading the relationship when it comes to sexual intercourse. It requires a communication. It should be both ways. This is not a domination or a dominatrix relationship unless that is your understanding and that's what you are into. Hey, different strokes for different folks. That's not my thing, but if it's yours, hey, no problem. Do you, boo? But hey, but I believe that whatever works for you works for you. But if you have an understanding with your partner, you should be able to have your needs met, and your partner should be able to meet your needs, and you should be able to communicate with your partner, and he should be able to communicate with you, or she should be able to communicate with you. And it doesn't matter what gender you are, what race you are, you guys should have that communication open, because intimacy is about communication. Sometimes you can talk to each other on such a level and embrace and get chills all over just holding each other or kiss each other and feel that warmth and feel that love, because that's intimacy. And when you're with the right person, you will feel that love and that warmth in just the embrace.
Yeah, into me you see. That's what I was trying to say before. Into you. I don't know why I'm having problems with that. I used to use it all the time. I haven't used it in a long time. But anyways, yes. So I do want to highlight one thing though. You were talking about getting deeper into that emotional level of talking about how you feel, and you're making me and talking about the actual impact someone has on you. My reaction is from a law of attraction place. So that's one of my strong foundational BS belief systems. And I think that especially for women, we have gotten to the place where it's your responsibility to make me feel good. So when I say you're making me frustrated, or what you said makes me feel angry, sad, pissed off, frustrated, confused, and it deflects the responsibility and the ownership that I ultimately, no one can piss me off. I can allow your words to raise my blood pressure and my angst and my pissed offedness, but that's my choice. And so this is where I kind of bump up a little whenever people talk about having an intimate conversation and having a carefrontation and talking through things. Maybe that's why I've never had makeup sex. I would rather say, this conversation is not bringing out the best in me right now, and I need to take care of me. so that I become the naturally happy person that I am. So we can get back together and talk about this when we're less emotional or when there's less anger around it because I'm feeling like I have to shut down. So that to me is me owning my stuff, me owning my own emotions and feelings. Because really, ultimately, I think we do too much attributing and blaming other people for how we're feeling. So that was my reaction.
I think that everybody responds to conflict in a different way. And there is no wrong way to respond to conflict. As long as you address the conflict and you don't let it fester, because when you let it fester, it turns into resentment. And resentment cannot flourish in a relationship. Resentment lingers and it becomes bitterness and it takes root. And when it takes root, it grows and it becomes a tree that kind of flourishes and it lingers over your head and then it lingers over the other person's head. And when it does that, it grows fruit. And that fruit will continue to drop and hit people over the head. And it will eventually knock you out and knock the other person out. And it might even destroy the relationship. So
Well, I think that's the line you're talking about, when to get in and out, right?
that part. And
Yeah.
so if you don't address the conflict, then the relationship will probably eventually end because conflict brews resentment and then the relationship will likely wither and fail and you won't have true intimacy. And when you don't have true intimacy, you can't have that bond and that connectedness. And when you try to have that connectedness, your intimate episodes fall flat. And you know it and the other person knows it. And then you start looking at each other with the side eye. And then you start thinking, okay, maybe it is time for us to resolve this relationship. And
Dissolve.
yeah.
Dissolve.
Yeah.
So
Move and hit the road. Absolutely.
yeah. There's a psychological phenomena that I use in my practice as an organizational psychologist, and it's called the Pygmalion effect. And I bring it into my relationship coaching when a couple comes in and she's complaining about, he doesn't follow through, he doesn't text me back, he doesn't show up on time, he doesn't da 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 da. And so that is a well-oiled machine of focusing on all the ways in which he does not do something that she likes. And Pygmalion effect, it speaks to the phenomena that it's not, I'll believe it when I see it, but I'll see it when I believe it. So if she believes he is a deficit on all these things, it's almost as if she has a pair of glasses on that deflects anything that disproves that, but attracts anything and everything that proves how she sees him. So even if he does clean up after himself, she doesn't see it. She can only see the examples and the instances where he does do what she expects him to do. So that plays a large part into dissolving based on perception that isn't even really a reality. So when couples come with that presenting as a problem, the activity that I recommend is 30 days of having sex, coming home every day, looking to each other's eyes, holding hands, and telling them the thing that they love about them the most. So that gratitude and appreciation exercise. Okay. And I have yet to meet a couple that has begun to begin to unravel all of those stuck Pygmalion effect BS belief systems that are keeping them from being intimate. So there's that. Even before you think you want to get out and dissolve, try that. Just try it and see if that doesn't blow up some of the frozen BS belief systems that are hurting your relationship and your intimacy.
Okay. And so I want to read a quick poem, and it's called We. We consists of you and me. I want us to be together throughout eternity. I refuse to let others disrupt our happiness. People will try to break us up, but we will not stress. We are strong enough to withstand any test. We can do anything we put our hearts and minds to. If we put aside our pride, there is nothing we can walk through. Our future together is very bright. God is love, and He is our guiding light. We must stray in love and keep everything right. We must stay in love and keep everything tight. We are strong and with each other belong. When we are apart from each other, we long. We must let love grow and continue to take flight. We must fight to keep our love tight. We must stay together and never stray. We must not let people get in our way. And that is.
Yay! Yes, that's from her book. I was going to pull that up as well. Do you like your music in the background?
I love it.
Good. You can actually pick up that book of poetry anywhere. I'm going to just show you how easy it is. You just go to Google, and my assistant Google, and here we go. Let's see. If I just put in, it's as easy as this. Share. Okay, and I'm going to put in Flowetry. I think it should come up. Flowetry.
Flowetry, Dr. Tate.
Okay. Flowetry, Dr. Tate. And there you go. This is on Amazon. There's a beautiful cover. Can you see that?
I see it.
Good. A collection of 108 poetic flows on life, love, and liturgical issues. It was published March 2022, and you can get your own copy anywhere or Amazon. What does liturgical mean? Somebody asked me that because they looked up.
It's religious issues.
I didn't know that. I love learning new things. All right. Final word. I think we're coming up. How much time do we have? Oh, shoot. 2 minutes. No final word. Final phrase, Dr. Tiffany. When it comes to intimacy,
be open to intimacy with yourself and with your partner. Love each other.
Into me you see is my challenge for myself and for anyone else who is not as intimate as they know they could be. No one can break your heart. You have your heart. It's in the hands of a friendly universe. So I'm talking to myself. Take the plunge. Take the challenge of seeing if you can't ramp up some intimacy in your life. Thank you, Dr. Tiffany, for giving us a great topic today. And it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have, what's tomorrow? Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and co-host James Hawthorne. We'll be talking about relationships, continuing probably this theme. Now go and have the best day ever.
NBC News on KCAA Loma Linda, sponsored by Teamsters Local 1932, protecting the future of working families, Teamsters1932.org.